So starting off with some of our priorities on Nipher. In the life safety and security area, we had talked about possibility of creating a secure classroom loop in the back area of the building to allow students to stay within the building as they go from one side to the other, back in this area, back here behind the stage, and then providing some outdoor restrooms, which provides some security for people out on the field area as they're utilizing that field, that they don't have to enter the building and then have access to the whole building as they go. In the learning and curriculum area, we have adding some class, some small group intervention areas and conference spaces, including about 3 science areas or new science rooms that would help with the new enrollment that's going to be coming through the space. The second item was creating a larger space for band, orchestra, and choral curriculum. As enrollment keeps going up, all of those areas are also in pretty high demand, so we have a constant need to expand those areas. And then creating a larger art department as well with some better spaces to do some of those fine arts abilities with some daylighting and things of that nature. And also the other large growing curriculum here at Nipher is the Project Lead the Way in the Industrial Arts program, which becomes a draw for a lot of people to come to the district in the first place to get involved with those, and those areas are needing a lot more space as well. And then on the accessibility side of things, just providing more accessible entries. Kind of back here behind the North Gym as an expansion area that we can begin to have some of those functions in that area. And then as we move into the plan itself, here on the first floor, some of the larger areas up in the middle would be a new larger band area with band storage. To the right, we have an orchestra area that's also larger that can house a lot of more storage. As of now, in the basement and in the hallways and the stairwells, there's a ton of orchestra equipment, as I'm sure you've seen. To the left of all that, we have some practice areas and an expansion area for the industrial arts program and Project Lead the Way. And then another thing that we're able to get is having the choir room in this area, as well as being able to offload the assistant principal's office back to have a little more secure control over the building in that back half as well. So you have are able to spread out the administration a little more to be able to keep an eye on everybody. So as we move out some of those larger spaces, we're able to backfill some of the smaller spaces. We're able to create some new core classroom areas. Yeah, thank you. They work this thing, right? Here we go. All right, so as we come out to the front, as I've said, we've moved the assistant principal area back here to have a little better control over the area. That allows us to have some different offices and counselor spaces out in the front. And we're able to reorganize some of our smaller spaces here to have more core classroom functions and be able to get some of these specialty areas. This is like journalism and things of that nature to become more core classrooms as we move those spaces out. So if you could flip to the second floor, as you see, we've got some higher ceilinged areas in the band and orchestra areas. They have different needs in other spaces. They require higher ceilings like this room to really get that volume and control and how they need those rooms to function. We're able to create a new maker space out here as well. And we're able to have a new gifted area. And then this large band area that's currently there is able to rehouse our fine art area and our art room, which has great lighting and is able to provide those functions. So what we've done as far as our priorities on that list is we've been able to create this elective and fine arts wing in the back of the building, which has then allowed us to come back over next to our science wing and refill some of these areas in with new science classrooms, some of which already have some sinks of that kind, which would make them make a little more sense to upgrade the rest of the way to be science rooms. Down here then in the library, as we've offloaded the makerspace out here, we're able to create a corridor to separate the library itself and let these go back to functioning as more classrooms that don't have to enter through the library, which becomes a big disturbance for the library folks. And we can have, again, some different functions in here. We have some, I believe it's the MS Connections class, the gifted classroom, and a smaller conference area for small groups or staff meetings of the kind. Flip to the next slide. And then as we move down in the basement, since we've been able to offload some of these, the orchestra functions into the new addition, we're able to create some multi-purpose space, and we're able to create, relocate some of these health rooms downstairs to where we've been able to create core classrooms in the team setting upstairs. And then we've been able to locate a space for the ISS room, which was also, I believe it was here when we started this process, and I believe it's on this level somewhere now as things constantly change in these schools. The other thing that we've been able to do with this plan is create an area in the back here with an elevator and a corridor so that we're able to get to all 3 levels from that elevator off the back of the building to locate and get to that first level and that second level corridor as well. Okay. I'm going to pass it off to Roy here to talk about the high school.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to